Most of what we know about the Philippines before colonization come from these pages. This is one of 4 chronicles of Antonio Pigafetta, written in the 16th century or some 500 years ago. Pigafetta, an Italian, was among the first Westerners to set foot on the Philippine Islands. We view these antique pages not in a European library, but in the National Historical Commission of the Philippines office in Manila. For the first time ever, the Philippines has its own digital copies of the 4 Pigafetta manuscripts. Francis Navarro is a historian helping the government look into these chronicles.
Well, Antonio Pigafetta was in the crew or expedition of Ferdinand Magellan, okay, when he was looking for a way to go to the Spice Islands, okay, and by going to a different route, okay, which eventually led to the so-called his arrival or his discovery of the Philippines, okay, the 1st of March of 1521. Now, Pigafetta was more or less, the geographer of the crew. So he mapped out basically on a daily basis their locations, even when they were already in the Philippines. So in a way, Pigafetta's accounts and some of his so-called drawings of the islands, okay, are very important because those will be the first glimpses of a Westerner of the archipelago.
In the manuscript, you'll find ancient Bisaya words, descriptions of food and attire of pre-colonial Filipinos. This portion describes the first Easter Day Mass celebrated in the Philippines. Here is where Magellan is killed by Lapu-Lapu's men in Mactan. National historian Rene Escalante describes what it took to bring home Pigafetta's accounts.
So we got in touch with the 4 libraries claiming to have the original extant copy of Pigafetta's account. So I personally went to the US, Yale University, because there we can find one of the versions. And then I was able to negotiate. They will provide us with a high resolution digital copy of the manuscript of Pigafetta. Then we wrote also the Ambrosiana Library in Milan with the same request. And the last library that we contacted would be the Bibliothèque Nationale de Paris. This is the National Library of France, to request also if they could provide us with a digital copy of this. And we are happy and fortunate because in exchange for a certain amount they gave us, and at this point we have already the copy of this.
It cost the government some 125,000 pesos to retrieve these historical documents. This expense means budding Filipino historians can now view the Pigafetta manuscripts themselves in NHCP's library free of charge. It's a chance to enrich what we know about pre-colonial Philippines.
In history, there's still this passion for primary sources. If you really want to be a credible historian, you should not be contented with translations and secondary accounts. Now, this is still part of our mandate to promote the study of history. And one way of promoting study of history is by making available sources of information about a historical event. So this is part of my duty as chairman of the National Historical Commission to bring home some of these materials that might be very expensive for serious historians to access.
Pigafetta's adventure may be long over, but Filipinos still have a long journey ahead to rediscover their ancient roots. P. Renada, Rappler, Manila.